In the last episode, you met Jamie Flora and Kristen Ditlow.
And if you didn't get a chance to listen, go back and do that.
Then meet us right back here for our conversation about the Young Voices residency at the University of New Mexico, a brilliant new collaboration.
If we do say so ourselves.
Designed to bridge the academic opera world to the professional opera world.
We've been hyping this all season.
And it's exciting to see the community come together in New Mexico.
Who are the Young Voices? If you're new here, it's the Santa Fe Opera's high school voice program.
You can hear more from this cohort about their hopes, fears, and aspirations on Season 5, Episode 7, What's Opera to a Bunch of High School Students?
And in this episode, we find out how it's going so far.
Have you ever wanted to know how an opera singer prepares on performance days?
Or what it's like on the other side of the audition table?
Or how to find the courage to take more creative risks in your own life and work?
I'm Anna Garcia with the Santa Fe Opera.
And I'm Olga Perez Flora with the University of New Mexico.
And in Season 6 of Key Change, we're pulling back the curtain
to reveal what it takes to build a rewarding and sustainable career in opera.
Illuminate just what can happen when you build meaningful partnerships with incredible collaborators.
And give you a sneak preview of the next generation of talent taking root right here in New Mexico.
And right here on Key Change. Jamie, Kristen, neither of you are strangers to a variety of roles at the Santa Fe Opera. Jamie, you've been working closely with the Young Voices, for example.
Can you both just talk a little bit about this collaboration and what your role will be in this?
In January, I will be, bringing the students from UNM up to Santa Fe Opera, and we'll have a day of just spending time with the music staff at Santa Fe Opera. And I'm just going to make sure that the students are engaging. We just recently had a master class, and everyone seemed a little nervous about asking questions.
With
they all
Chandler
wanted,
Johnson.
Yes, it was great. He was
Chandler
great.
Johnson. If you haven't already, make sure you listen to our 2-part episode series with Chandler about current auditioning trends for young artists in the United States.
Linked in the show notes.
They were just all very nervous to ask questions in public. But after it was over, they inundated him with all these questions. And he was like, why didn't we just ask the questions before, And so I'm going to make sure to kind of help them, give them a little extra courage and guide them along. Poke them along. And just make sure that they're engaging, because this is such a wonderful opportunity for them to, like I said, to know the sound, to know the standard in the industry, and there is no greater standard than Santa Fe's standard. And so that's exciting. And then in February, the Young Voices will come to us at UNM, and we'll work with them. And it's very exciting. I always love working with the Young Voices.
How are the students doing this year?
I think they're doing great. I've been working with tenors mostly this year. There's a lot of new singers this year.
Do you favor tenors?
I do favor tenors. Tenors are hard to teach. I was a brass player growing up. I was a trumpet player. And I would say tenors are like French horns. They're very exposed. They're asked to sing higher in their register than other instruments, which requires a lot of fearlessness. It requires a lot of knowledge. And so I specialize in that, because it's difficult to teach tenors to transition their voices. And as someone who had to learn how to do that, I think I do that well.
And Kristen, what will be your role with this collaboration?
Well, just like Jamie said, I'll be a part of the entourage that will head the Hour North up 25 together with Olga and Jamie coming to campus. And I think there is also something so special for students seeing the inner workings of a big live theater, especially one that is so unique. For example, Santa Fe Opera, for those of you who have not been to the campus or seen the theater ever, the back is open. And there's, so I don't know exact numbers, but probably 93% of all opera theaters have sides,
all walls.
They have sides that are enclosed, and the back is enclosed. So when they were designing the new theater, it would have taken an incredible amount of imagination, and also really thinking, okay, how is rain not going to get in, and this and that. But also people are able to build sets and design sets in a way that really highlight the architecture of the theater.
And acoustics.
And the fact that there's no curtain. Right, that's another logistical challenge. That's not that common in, for example, the older European theaters.
Yeah, it makes it so beautiful, though. I mean,
does.
The La Traviata that had the back open while the sun was setting in the first act this past year was extremely gorgeous.
Yes.
I can't even express how gorgeous it was.
It's so magical.
Yeah.
And so for the students to come and see, oh, look at this costume shop, which is only slightly larger than UNM's costume. No, I'm kidding. We are eventually getting a new building, which is very exciting for our university and especially for the opera. But right now, let's just say that the costumes do not have a lot of space to take up.
It's not really a shop.
It's not a shop at all. It's 2 clothing hangers in a dressing room that is also not large. So for them to be able to see, okay,
full production area.
A full production area. And when I make it, quote unquote, which is that could be a whole different set of podcasts of when someone makes it or not, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes. I know it's audio. But being able to have students see it, come and see the workings of a dressing room, a costume shop, coaching studios, or very large orchestra halls. I remember when we were doing Laura Kaminsky's show, Hometown to the World, we had rehearsals in Stieren Orchestra Hall. And in there was the set of Eugene Onegin.
Yes.
So it was very interesting because this piece, you have aristocratic Russia with the Pushkin play, Pushkin libretto, of course, and then a brand new libretto set in Postville, Iowa, and we're rehearsing that piece.
In Russia.
The weather was about the same. I actually remember it was late November, early December. I remember it being quite cold up here. I still remember my first time hearing the Philadelphia Orchestra as a kid and going to the Academy of Music and seeing that. And that's a big hope I have for my students as well, is seeing the campus when it's more or less off-season.
Oh, it's off-season, all right.
Yeah, for sure. And then planting seeds in their minds of this is possible. And we have pathways and relationships that get you from school to being a working singer. And no 2 paths are the same, but that there's a clear understanding from, of course, starting with the 3 of us, then going to the university, and then everyone who's been so fantastic and welcoming at the Santa Fe Opera.
That's right. I want to follow up by saying that Renee Fleming says in her beautiful book, The Inner Voice, that the road from being a student to becoming a professional singer she says that, in fact, it's so difficult, it feels like swimming the English Channel. And so what we're trying to give our students are more roads, more paths, more tools.
Flippers.
They're going to swim. But I want to add that just to flesh out this day at Santa Fe Opera, they're going to get to see all of the wonderful, the stage and the costume shop and campus. And then they're going to get to work with Chandler Johnson and with Amy Owens and some of the other staff members that are so great at Santa Fe Opera. And Chandler's going to do a class following up to his master class of audition logistics, which will be great. Another idea that we had was having every student bring a resume, and they'll go around the room, including Kristen and Jamie and I, and you too, Anna, and we'll get to edit their resumes and say, hey, I'd like to see a little more of this, or maybe you could add this, or think about this photo. Hopefully we'll go through some audition outfits. So it's really going to be a day of collaborating in order to bring their auditions forward and make them stronger in the business. So help them swim that channel a little bit quicker.
Yeah. I wanted to say really quickly back to the idea of the campus. The campus is so beautiful that one time when I came up and taught the Santa Fe Young Voices, I brought my oldest daughter with me.
Our.
Sorry. I brought our oldest daughter with me. Her name is Lucia. And Lucia is 12, and she was doing homework, and I was teaching, and I can't remember the name of the room, but it's that room that looks like a living room.
The Ranch Lounge.
Yeah, the Ranch Lounge. There we go. I was teaching in the Ranch Lounge, and Charles Gamble just happened to be working in there.
Charles Gamble, Director of Community Engagement, featured in episode 2 of this season.
Linked in the show notes.
And he was like, oh, sorry, let me move. I know you're teaching. And then he was like, oh, who is this? And he met Lucia. And they had this lovely conversation, and she's actually in a program in her school that was started because of Santa Fe. They call it Opera Club, and it's, what do they call it? Opera in a Box? No, what's the Santa Fe Opera's version of it? Storytellers.
Oh, yeah, Opera Storytellers.
They call it Opera Storytellers, yes. But her school took a version of Opera Storytellers and made it into their school's opera club. And the students spend all year writing an opera, producing it, doing everything that you can think. They compose, they write the libretto, they make the costumes, everything. And Charles asked her about that experience, and he said, what do you think of that? And she said, well, I think it's really great, and I love to do it. But it shouldn't be called Opera Club. It should be called Messy Musical.
Oh.
And he loved it.
And he loved it. He loved it. And the other thing that I wanted to say about that campus was, she had that conversation, and that was lovely. And then while I taught, she just went around Santa Fe Opera and just took pictures. And every time I go back up, she says, Dad, can I come with you? Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful. I just want to be there. Mm-hmm. I think sharing that experience with our students is going to be important too. Just that element of it. And then all the wonderful professional opportunities that are there. But experiencing the true beauty that is Santa Fe Opera, and as Olga says, how magical it is.
Of course, you know by now how the key change time machine works.
When we recorded this conversation with Jamie and Kristen, it was before the residency exchange.
But now you're hearing this after it already happened.
Fortunately, our producer Andrea was on campus with the Young Voices and UNM students during their day of masterclasses and workshops with professors Jamie Flora, Michael Hicks, Paula Swallen, and myself to capture a bit of the action along with their thoughts.
Here's Andrea with the story.
Okay, tell me who you are.
My name is Landon Kessler.
And where are we? What are we doing today?
We are in the UNM B117 room, I guess, and we're doing a master class with Jamie Flora and the UNM professors on just singing technique and performance.
We are indeed here at the University of New Mexico. Landon Kessler is a high school junior in his third year with the Young Voices of the Santa Fe Opera. We met him back in Season 5, Episode 7, and we'll hear more from Landon in a minute. But in the meantime, here's the intention Jamie Flora set to kick off the festivities for the students and faculty.
I just love to sing, and we're going to have fun. Someone said to me the other day that they thought I was having too much fun, and I said, if I'm not having fun, I'm not doing it. And so I hope that you all have fun with me today.
And in the spirit of fun, let's take a quick romp through the day's events. We heard 4 of the Young Voices: Ava, Elsa, Landon, and Alexander. Sing arias and art songs, and then work on various techniques with Jamie and Michael, who were as kind, insightful, and actually entertaining as could be.
Can you let yourself get really big on that one? Like, oh, I'm about to bust out of my shirt.
Oh, well, let's do that. Everybody, Dr. Flora loves this, so I'll show you. Everybody stand there. And you'll like this too. This is dragon breath, breath of fire. So here we go. Inhale, hands up. Yeah, that should feel good. Everyone have a seat. Have a seat. So feel better? Good.
But if I were writing it down in my copy, I would write Rick. Because that will make sure you put your tongue in the right place. And then you have to imagine you're going to kiss Rick. It'll look puckered up.
Then, our very own Olga Perez Flora and Paula Corbin Swallen gave a workshop on the wide world of selecting repertoire.
The Institute for Composer Diversity has compiled diverse composers. Anyone that's considered peripheral, outside of the norm.
Like you sang The Green Dog, and it's like uplifting, fun, and it really matches your spirit. I have a student, she's like, Dr. Flora, I want sad, slow songs. And I'm like, Great. Okay, but they can't all be sad and slow. But we do love our sad, slow songs. Good. What else? Other guests?
And we concluded with a Q&A featuring UNM faculty and current voice students about things like college auditions, curriculum, nervousness, stage fright, things like that. Can we grab you?
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Great.
Back to Landon. Okay, what did you sing?
I sang The Green Dog by Kingsley.
How are you feeling now after having some coaching?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm very excited. I'm glad I got to work with Jamie Flora again. I have long running with him, I guess, for the past 3 years. So it's always lovely to see him and help, work with my resonance structures and all that good stuff. So I'm really excited. I feel great about The Green Dog right now.
And we talked with you at orientation this year.
Yes.
Okay, so what has changed since I saw you at orientation this year? What's new for you?
Musically, I'm looking at a lot of colleges. I'm working a lot with my technique right now. I'm really trying to improve with that, and I know Amy Owens has been really helping me with that. I've been talking to a lot of people from around the state, doing CS Music Awards and doing the Dust Lead with Jacqueline Zanderwall. And that's kind of the new things about me lately.
Exciting. Thanks, Landon.
Of course.
I'm Eleanor Lucas.
And I'm Ava Michi.
And one of you sang today.
So I sang Donna Vorrei Morir by Tosti.
And who did you do your coaching with?
James Flora.
And how are you feeling?
So good. It was so motivating, and also it made me feel like I do know what I'm doing sometimes. But it was really great. And I feel like I have so much that I can work on now with the piece.
And now that you've been observing 4 of your colleagues have their coaching today and singing, what are you thinking? What's going through your mind?
I'm just thinking wow, it was really cool to get to hear how each person had something different going on, and you got to experience all the different kinds of vocal work that was going on, and also hear the change. I heard such a big change in your piece from when you were singing it at the beginning to the end. I was mind blown how just 15 minutes of work can change that much. And it sounded amazing both ways. I promise it sounded good both ways. But it was just so cool to hear how big of a difference 15 minutes can do.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just so cool to get to experience that. And I hope someday to be in a masterclass and get to sing. So that was really cool.
Did it feel different to you?
It definitely did. I think the thing with master classes is you try and be so in the moment. By the end, you're like, what did I learn? But I feel like today I really tried to made a point to kind of be in the moment. And now I feel like I took so much more out of it. And I think it's also great because we had lots of diversion with our pieces. So everyone was a little bit different. So it was nice that we got different techniques with different languages and different styles of pieces. So I feel like not only I learned from my master class, but what I can take to my other repertoire.
What's been the highlight so far of this program this year?
Ooh, probably extending my range, my vocal range. I was kind of limited before, but now I have such a big range, and also meeting everybody. Meeting people was the best part because I met so many talented young people who are my age and have shared similar experiences. And it's just such an incredible opportunity to get to see all these different voices changing in all these different ways and get to work alongside that with these amazing people, and I'm just so truly grateful for that.
Do either of you have any advice for someone who is thinking about applying for next year?
I would say kind of the same advice I was given. Really, don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to walk up to someone and make friends, because once you do it, you're just I got this. And also, don't be afraid of trying new things outside of your comfort zone. Try to go out of where you're comfortable with. Try to experiment with new things and enjoy it. Just enjoy everything that you're getting to understand and see.
No, I completely agree. I was the same page. Definitely.
Yeah.
My name is Alexander, and I sing "And die Musik" by Schubert, a song that explains the love of music.
Correct me if I'm wrong, it was a surprise that you were singing today, right?
Yes, it was a surprise, but I have been practicing this song for a long time, so it wasn't a big shock.
What are your takeaways from that experience?
It's my first time performing in German. German is not my favorite language to sing in. I'm not very fond of it, but I think it's important that I learn more and expand my range.
My name is Elsa Donoegan.
And I remember talking to you at orientation this year. So you were about to embark on the Young Voices adventure. Where are you now? What do you feel like has changed for you so far?
I've made some new friends, which is pretty great. What all has happened this year? There's been so much. Well, since we're in the second semester, we've been doing Opera Makes Sense events.
You remember Opera Makes Sense, the Santa Fe Opera's program created for children ages 3 to 5 to explore the world of opera through music and family-friendly storytelling.
And just the studio classes, and I feel like I've learned so much. I've really expanded my upper register and my ability to speak in other languages. I feel like there's just a little bit of everything that's happened so far, and I'm excited for what the future holds.
And I believe they said you were not originally planning to sing today for the master class.
Nope.
Tell us what happened.
She said, "Does anyone want to volunteer?" And I said, "Sure." I just take every opportunity that's presented to me. That's my goal.
And how are you feeling about the coaching that you had today?
Good. I feel like my German needs a lot of work, even though it's the language I sing in the most frequently. My mother is German, as I mentioned at orientation.
And which you can hear in last season's Young Voices episode.
And I like when she's proud of me. So, pretty exciting. I had a great time.
Any advice for someone who's thinking about applying for the next year?
Just do it. You can't gain anything if you don't go for it. You'll never get an opportunity if you don't seek it out, you know?
My name is Riley Baca, and I am a senior and a contralto in the Santa Fe Opera Young Voices.
Since orientation to now, what do you feel like has changed or shifted for you as a result of being a part of this?
I definitely have just really expanded my comfortability with singing. When I first started the program, I was only comfortable with a small part of my voice. But in the program, I've really grown out where I feel comfortable singing and really expanded my range and repertoire.
And what has this partnership, this exchange that we're doing with University of New Mexico, what has that been like?
I am actually really excited for this partnership because I will be going into their music education program come the fall.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. It really means a lot to me to be able to see and meet some of the people that I will be working with and get comfortable before getting thrown into a whole new experience of college.
And so what have been your takeaways from being on campus and observing some of these master classes and workshops?
Most of my takeaways has really been observing individual teaching styles between the couple of people that we watched, just to get more familiar with them as teachers and hopefully to be able to apply that to my own practices later on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Speaking of the partnership with UNM, let's hear from some of their current college students, also in attendance at today's master classes.
My name is Taylor Stanley. I'm a sophomore vocal performance major at UNM, and today we're here welcoming the Santa Fe Young Voices to do a master class, to see the campus, and to talk to some of our professors about what's going on here.
Who do you study with here at UNM?
I study with Dr. Flora.
Yes, Dr. Flora, aka our lovely co-host Olga. What's that like? Give us the dirt.
She's one of my favorite people. She's a very, very intense person, but she also just cares very deeply about her students and what they're doing and what everybody's doing. She is so passionate about the arts and what she does that it's really easy to sort of fall in line with her and to take her experiences almost on as your own. And I think that she's just, for me and for everybody else in the entire department, she's empowering us to do the things that we want to do and to do them the way we want to do them. And it's really refreshing in an industry that I feel like has been really outdated for so long.
Did you get a chance to participate in the masterclass with Chandler Johnson at the Santa Fe Opera?
I wasn't in the masterclass with Chandler, but I did sing in the masterclass with Amy Owens.
Ooh, how was that?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was excellent. A lot of my struggles are with, feeling like my voice is not something that I can control and wanting to just clamp down on it. And she just put me so at ease and was able to convince me to be okay with the fact that I can't control it. And that's really how you get to be at her level, which is super cool.
So you said you're a sophomore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you are planning to have a career as a singer. What are your future aspirations?
Well, I can only hope to have a career as a singer. I would like to spend time performing. It's, one of the things that makes me feel like I'm doing all of this for a reason. And so it gives me a lot of purpose, and I just love watching other people perform, and I'm selfishly kind of like, well, I want to do that. But I would also love to go on and become more educated, master's, doctorate, and hopefully work at a university and be able to do the things that Dr. Flora does for us.
And in that case, last question. Do you have any advice for the young singers of the Santa Fe Opera that you're seeing and hearing as part of this exchange?
Yes. Well, they're incredible. They're absolutely wonderful. And I got to do similar stuff when I was their age, not as cool as Santa Fe, but those experiences were some of the things that really guided me toward doing music, choosing to do that in college, choosing to do it as a career. And so I think it's really important to not take that for granted and to just be really mindful of what you are taking in. And you don't have to agree with everything that you hear, but it's really important to just hear it and to know what people are saying and doing and just stay current with it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I remember meeting you at orientation this year.
That was my twin brother.
Oops. Awkward. Wow, you really do look so similar. Okay, where is he?
He's a little sick today. He can't make it.
Okay, so then we haven't met you before. I'm so sorry. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Ryan Lopez.
Said brother is Gavin Lopez, and yes, we did speak to him at orientation. So that must mean that you are currently studying here.
At UNM, yeah.
Okay, and who are you studying with?
With James Flora, yeah.
What's it like watching him in action with the young voices of this year in this master class today?
Familiar. He had worked with me while I was in Young Voices, and that was a big reason why I was like, okay, this is someone I know, so I'll come to UNM and we can continue our work that we had already started, It's nice to see that he's always willing to help everybody, whether you're his student or not. He's just always here.
Any advice for people who are considering applying to Young Voices in the future?
Just be a good person, I guess.
I love it.
A lot of it is the singing part of it, but it's also about showing up and being nice to work with and just being a good person. So.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you. My name's Alexandra. I'm in my 4th year at UNM. I study with Professor James Flora, and I'm very excited to be here.
Did you get to participate in the master classes a couple weeks ago?
No, I was watching, but I learned so much just by hearing the students sing and sort of hearing the difference from when they started to when the master class ended. And I think that gave me a lot to work on personally as well and experiment with more things.
So will you be graduating soon?
Yes, May 16th, and my senior recital is coming up.
How are you feeling about that?
I'm very excited for it. I'm doing a lot of Romanian pieces since I'm half Romanian by Brădicianu that actually haven't been recorded before, so everyone at the recital will be hearing them for the first time.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And what are your plans post-graduation?
I'm applying to Indiana University, so we'll see how that audition goes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And the professor of the hour, or at least the last few minutes. We've already met you on the podcast.
You have indeed.
You are already a character. How are you feeling at the end of today's masterclass with the Young Voices?
I feel great. I think they had fun. I think they improved. I think they enjoyed their interaction here at UNM. And I think a lot of times kids are looking to go away. And I think it was useful for them to see what it's like staying at home, maybe, and putting that seed in their mind. And, I have a relationship already with Landon because I've worked with the Young Voices a little bit. And so that was really easy and fun. And he was comfortable. And so that made it a little smoother for him.
Yeah.
But I thought all 4 kids sang really well. I thought the resources we shared with them were really useful and hopefully something they can take with them and add to their repertoire. So it was fun.
And while we're talking to amazing professors.
Yeah, I'm Michael Hicks. I'm chair of the Department of Music.
What is this partnership with Santa Fe Opera? What does it mean to UNM?
Oh, it's tremendous. To be able to partner with an opera company that is among the best in the entire world is just a tremendous educational experience for our students. And we have had over the years students that work as ushers or work in the box office, students that have sung in the chorus when the chorus at Santa Fe Opera is augmented. But to have this relationship where the young voices come to our campus and we get to teach them and interact with them, and then the opportunities for our students engaging in master classes just last weekend at the opera, working with Amy and Chandler at the opera, such an opportunity.
Okay, one more stop before we part ways. After Olga and Paula's repertoire workshop, there was an opportunity for the high school students from the Young Voices to ask questions of the college students from UNM. I wanted to know what they should have asked, but maybe didn't. High school students considering music school, listen closely.
Hello, I'm Kiara Cortez. I'm a junior here at UNM. And I'm Maria Bollinger. I'm a sophomore at UNM.
And what was it like seeing all the current young voices there today to learn from your professors and also hear from both of you on the Q&A panel?
It felt like very exciting because it doesn't feel like that long ago that I was a young voice. And like my time in the program was so special to me that being able to like share something with them was really important.
Yeah.
I think it just gave another perspective of how much I was cared for as a singer and got to see kind of like that from a different perspective, looking backwards at the Young Voices now, just, you know, what a special and sacred time it is as a young artist to be able to have that kind of direction and instruction and just, you know, being able to try out whatever and see what works for you. And then being able to reflect, you know what, like I still have that here at UNM. And just, yeah, that's beautiful. And just a gratitude for that.
Did either of you get to participate in the master classes at Santa Fe Opera with Amy and Chandler a couple weeks ago?
Yes, we did.
Did she sing?
I sang in the master class with Amy last Friday, and it was just such an exciting and fantastic opportunity. I really got to work on my diction, my vowels, things I know in my lessons, but just in like a deeper way. I was super excited. I was super excited because it just, you know, being able to talk with the best of the best and seeing kind of what even our next steps as people who are already in college might be, and to have having something to look forward to and something big and professional and the next step to look forward to is wonderful.
Are you both studying in Olga's studio?
I am in Olga's studio, yes.
And I study with Professor Swallen.
Okay. So give us the tea. What's it like to work with Olga? Or to study with her?
Like her biggest fan. But, you know, something I like about Dr. Flora's studio is how structured it is. I think as a young artist, that's very important. You know, let's set some goals for the semester. Where do you want to be? Here's where I can kind of see you headed. She balances very, very well what the artist wants to do and what her professional advice is. I didn't realize how important it was to me until I got into college of having representation in the field that you're in is. And so working with Dr. Flora as a fellow Latina American has just changed the game for me, and seeing like, you know, what can this career look like for somebody, you know, like me, that looks like me, who, you know, grew up in a similar way and had to make her own way. That makes all the difference, really. Yeah.
Is there anything that the Young Voices should have asked you during the Q&A that they did not?
I feel like the biggest thing would be to ask more about like kind of like what our relationship is with the opera now. Like, how often do we get to work with them? Like, what's it like in the master classes? And also a little bit more about scholarships, which is something I really wish that, you know, I knew at that age, but that I kind of also didn't really think about because I was young. But yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah.
I was going to say questions about everyday life. Would be, something good to ask. A musician's life is very, very busy, and there's a lot of requirements to meet in your undergrad. And I know when I was like in high school, I was like, you know what, I want to be a music major. I kind of have no idea what that means though. Like what everyday life might look like, what I'll be studying, those kinds of things. And maybe they already know that, but that's something I definitely would have asked more of.
Awesome. Thank you both so much.
Thank you so much.
And of course, we couldn't end this day or this episode without checking in with Amy Owens, fearless director of the Young Voices program.
Amy Owens.
Yeah?
On your way out.
Yeah.
We've come to the end.
We have.
Of the master classes at UNM.
We have. I mean, it has been wonderful for these young voices to be here at UNM, to hear what it's like to have this next step. They're playing the piano right now because they're in a good mood, which is a good sign. I'm particularly excited that we talked about repertoire and how they can bring their own songs to their lessons and just get a little bit more ownership over their path. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
So that's a wrap on our first year of our collaboration.
Thoughts on how it went?
Wow, I really thought it was fantastic. The students gained so much knowledge coming to the Santa Fe Opera campus, and it was really wonderful to host the Young Voices at UNM. What about you?
Well, I think it's a good first step to what Andrea had originally envisioned.
Yeah.
As of last year and her wishes and dreams for the collaboration, I think it's a good start.
Absolutely. Now we have a template and we have plans for how we're going to move forward together.
Coming up on Key Change,
we're taking a summer break for the Santa Fe Opera Festival season.
And to workshop our latest Opera for All Voices commission, Interplanetary Opera.
Working title.
And this fall, you'll hear all about it. Key Change is a production of the Santa Fe Opera, Department of Community Engagement and Education.
We are produced and edited by Andrea Klunder at the Creative Imposter Studios.
I'm Anna Garcia.
And I'm Olga Perez Flora.
Our audio engineers are Colin Ungerleider and Cabby at Cabby Sound Studios in Santa Fe.
Technical direction by Edwin R. Ruiz.
Production support from Alex Riegler.
Show notes by Lisa Witter.
This podcast is made possible due to the generous support of the Hankins Foundation, principal education sponsor of the Santa Fe Opera.
To learn more, visit us at santafeopera.org/keychange.
And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Santa Fe Opera.
When you guys are in Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
I had the best meal of my life in Chicago.
The best meal of your life.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Let's record this.
Okay.
It was amazing. It was the Italian Village on, I think it was Monroe Street.
Yeah.
And they have the top floors like the old mom and pop style, but it's like pricey and nice and really good.
It's like each level is like 3 different restaurants in one.
Yes. It's so good. It's so good. There's pictures of all the famous opera singers that went there and Carol Fox, who started the Lyric Opera Chicago. And the maitre d' had been there since like 1960 or 1958 or something like that. And he was telling stories about, I know, Olga's like,
gossip.
This is not going to be
It was a great story.
We always need outtakes.
Oh, okay. He also talked about.
We could do this at the house.
Okay. I don't know.